All right. So we're going to talk about a couple more factors that are involved in gas and bloating, and if these are low or deficient, or you're just like a normal human in the world dealing with basic things that are hard to stay on top of, then this video is for you. If you've already started or tried the low FODMAP diet, and at least for a couple weeks, to see if lowering some of those high, oligosaccharide, those sugary foods, starchy foods that can contribute to more gas production. And then the other factors, implementing more herbs and spices that you probably already have in your house, things that are going to be more bitter, carminative, demulcent, soothing and stimulating the digestion. And then, so this week I'm going to talk about hydration and movement, some of the foundations of health, just basic things that I talk about a lot. They're not super sexy, but they are incredibly important, and I struggle with them myself. So everybody does. It's a hard thing to keep on top of. But with hydration being the first thing I want to talk about, why do we need proper hydration, and what is proper hydration, and how am I going to provide any nuanced information here that you haven't heard before? So, the importance of hydration is that we need our cells to be well lubricated and hydrated to perform their metabolic processes and to help excrete waste. And we also need that hydration to lubricate and hydrate the stool, the food that's passing through the colon, and for muscle contraction, for all of that. So those are the main points. Those are the main reasons why we need proper hydration. And ways that we can improve that are by implementing things like trace minerals and electrolytes. You being wary of getting too much salt with some of them out there on the market. If you are dealing with things like issues with your adrenal glands or POTS or anything like that, like, don't worry about salt. You need a little more salt in your diet. But for most people, you're getting plenty of salt through your food. So focusing on other minerals that are going to be found in things like Himalayan salt or sea salt, or through different companies that produce liquid minerals that you can add to your water daily, multiple times a day, which would be optimal. And the reason why is because it helps support the ionic gradient between the water that's already in your cells and the water that you're consuming. And if that gradient is not different, so if you're thinking of osmosis, that is pulling the water into the cells, and we need that gradient to improve absorption of water. So if you're just drinking a bunch of either, like, you've probably heard of distilled water, has absolutely nothing in it, or any of the really nice high-end filtration systems tend to filter out a lot of minerals and chemicals and things like that. Obviously, you don't want in your water that you're drinking, but that means you need to supplement some of those minerals back in to help with absorption of the water and keeping your cells actually hydrated. So a lot of my patients are actually drinking plenty of water, and but they still have symptoms of dehydration, which is interesting. And I think a lot of that is attributed to the fact that it's just going straight through their system. There might be some other factors too that are involved with issues with their adrenal glands, because if you have a lot of stress in your life or issues there, or a lot of people are dealing with different hormonal imbalances that can affect the adrenal glands, and that is what modulates or controls your salt or your antidiuretic hormone, all of that, and maintaining your blood pressure. So those are more complex topics that we need to get into. But the correct or recommended amount of water intake, it varies by person, but generally speaking, I say try to drink 2 to 3 liters a day, depending on your activity level and any other issues that you have with kidney function or anything like that. Want to make sure that you check in with your doctor before you start increasing hydration or anything like that. But I do recommend trying to get like half of your body weight in ounces is the general saying, and then one way to check outside of that to see if that's even an adequate or relevant way to measure is looking at your urine color. So if it's always clear or always yellow, dark, or some dark color, that means you're either getting too much or too little, and you should be urinating about every 2 hours throughout the day, and that's a good measurement that I like to use. The other thing to keep in mind is if you're drinking coffee or tea, you want to just tack on another glass of water there, because those are diuretics, or they can be diuretic for some people, and you're getting water in with the coffee. So I'm not going to tell people to stop drinking coffee and tea. I think those are wonderful ways to get polyphenols and all kinds of bioflavonoids in your diet. And I think most Americans that are eating a standard diet, that might be the only way that they're getting some of those antioxidants into their food, into their bodies. So the next thing to keep in mind is, how do we remember to drink water? So things that I recommend, not super sexy here, but just always trying to keep a water bottle with you. And when you're out and about, don't be super rigid about what kind of water you're getting. It's the same thing I kind of talk about with diet and things like that. I don't like to recommend rigidity or strictness with certain diets or water intake or anything like that, because it can create more stress and orthorexia and anorexia, all kinds of things, issues. And then, the type of water bottle, try to go for a stainless steel or glass container if you can, trying to avoid those plastics, even if they do say BPA free or anything like that. There's a lot of other bisphenols in there, and then other compounds that you don't want to consume. And then let's move on to movement. So why is movement helping with gas and bloating? So obviously we want to stimulate the nervous system, the enteric nervous system of the digestive tract, and that's going to help with that peristalsis, like I've talked about a lot. And then the mechanical jarring, it's like, imagine if you're running, you're shaking up all the food, the stool in your digestive tract, and that's going to help move things through. So just that mechanical jarring, if you're doing a light jog or even walking, all of that is going to help improve blood flow to the area, improve oxygen and nutrients to the area. And then the secondary effect of movement and exercise is that you're getting those natural endorphins and anti-inflammatory compounds, and supporting your mood and energy and lowering your stress levels. So all the benefits there, during and after. Obviously, if you're doing a ton of exercise, that can have the opposite effect, where that's, if you're running, ultra marathons and things like that more than you should, then you're probably pushing that cortisol button. And when you are exercising a lot, the blood is going to your muscles and periphery rather than your stomach. So you're not digesting your food as well. But on the other side of the story, with people that are dealing with metabolic issues or diabetes or just blood sugar dysregulation or insulin issues, weight, putting on weight and having difficulty getting it off. There is some benefit from postprandial walking. So just doing some light walking for 10 to 15 minutes after you eat a meal, and that's going to help improve insulin sensitivity. And insulin is that pancreatic hormone that helps get glucose in your blood into your cells. So out of your blood and into your cells, and that's going to be beneficial for improving weight and energy and lowering risks that come with metabolic issues. So what types of movement? I like to recommend, like what I just said, walking, jogging, light but jarring things where you're moving more vertically and bouncing, things like that. And then tips, there are a lot of cool apps out there for helping you remember to move daily, but I typically recommend, the minimum is 30 to 60 minutes, 4 to 5 days a week. So if you can do that, if you're sitting a lot for work or just throughout the day, you're a student like I was or like most people are, then I would recommend, trying to get up at least every hour, stretch at least. People that are sitting all day, you're just, everything's just starting to sag, and it's just sitting. Your food's just sitting there. So helping stand up, move a little bit, bend over, stretch, and just keeping it basic for now. So if you want to get into the nuances of that, do your own research, look into some apps that will keep you on track. Everybody's got their own taste and flavor and interest in terms of movement, so pick your own poison. And just remember, hydration, movement, those are going to be critical for keeping things moving and preventing gas and bloating in the long run. And in general, those are going to be essential for every health issue or recommendation that I'm ever going to have. So it's going to come with every treatment plan, some type of movement or tweaking things or increasing or lowering things depending on hormones and whatever symptoms are going on. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions or concerns, please like and subscribe if you want to see more health tips. I'm going to be putting out one movie a week, hopefully in the next, over the next year. So stay tuned and hope you all have a great day.